bringing you the news and information you need from the people making a difference. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
Thanks for joining us on Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Amy Allison in conversation with citizen artist Danny Glover. We all know him. Welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you with us. And we were just talking about what citizen means to you, and that underscores all the work that you're doing in the community.
Well, it underscores, I think, the kind of viewpoint that I have of my relationship to the world, and not only am I a citizen of this community in this nation, I'm a citizen of the world, and you find that in some cases, just particularly a situation where there was a recent effort to boycott Hugo Boss because it was to close down a plant in Brooklyn, Ohio, a plant that hired nearly, the employees were 400, primarily women. Most of those women were immigrant women. There were some African-American women as well, but most of them women. And they not only were citizens of that community, Brooklyn, Ohio, they were also citizens of their respective countries they came from, because they were sending back remittances to keep those families going in those other companies. And they won. So in that sense, they won their fight to keep the plant open, instead of the plant, Hugo Boss plant, moving from one place to that place, Brooklyn, Ohio, to a place where they were cheaper. The labor was cheaper.
So interesting, because you're applying the word citizen in a way that's very different from other people who are trying to make a distinction between citizens and non-citizens. The whole fight in Arizona.
Well, that's a whole other thing that we talk about, citizens, and they are citizens. Immigrant workers are citizens, whether they're here illegally or whether they're legally. What we need to have is a comprehensive, fair, just immigration plan. That's what we need. And you know what? The people who should be on the front line of this, getting this done, is African Americans.
Why really?
Well, I mean, but because they know about the issue of discrimination. They themselves weren't citizens when they first came here. When we weren't citizens. We were emancipated and became citizens as a result of the 13th and 14th Amendment, to the Constitution. So we weren't citizens. We should be there, as we've been always. During that period of the Civil Rights Movement, not only with their Cesar Chavez organizing farm workers, but the role of African American leadership and the intersection between both of those struggles is always. When I worked for the Model Cities program in the early 70s, it was not only the African American community, Baby Hunters Point, there was also the Mission District and the Latino community as well.
See, and the work that you're doing in San Francisco, organizing and getting the word out about the Juneteenth festival coming up, it really harkens to that, because you're calling history, African American history, and you're arguing that we should take history into present and join with other communities.
Yeah. We are the moral conscience. Slavery represents the moral conscience of this country's being. It doesn't exist as the institution of slavery. Part of it, the institution of slavery, reflects this country's sense of itself. It was still dealing with the issue of slavery and the aftermath of slavery in some sense. So the question of immigration, we're talking about immigration from the standpoint that, remember, at one point in time, there was no distinction between Mexico and California. There was no distinction between Arizona and Mexico, or the other states that it's applied to, or Texas and Mexico. All these were borders now, constructs that were placed into being because of the state power, or government's power to take over land, to take land and make that land part of one nation.
Well, and it's amazing to hear your passion after all these years of activism.
I think on the one hand, when we talk about these issues are fresh. We're going to look at immigration, and how about immigration from another standpoint? As I mentioned, Hugo Boss, capital, money, has the capacity to move from one place to the other place, no matter where on the globe. But workers do not have that capacity to do that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Part of the reason for when we have the influx and the dynamics and the demographics in terms of working people from Mexico is because what has happened because of the trade agreements.
Well, it has been an honor to hear your passion, Danny Glover. Thank you so much. That's right. That's right. It's Comcast Newsmakers. Thanks for watching.
All right.
And you're fantastic. Okay.